Your agency, back to you, had this campaign, Know Your BB Date. Let's start from that. BB should be best before. At least I know that. So why did you embark on that campaign?
Best before, not BlackBerry. Again, that stems out from the awareness we want to raise with consumers. Because consumables can be potentially hazardous if you consume them beyond the date in which they are safe. And we have a lot. We have all the galas that are being sold on the streets. We have drinks that we buy, beverages, and even drugs and all the rest. So one of the strategies to educate consumers is to inculcate the culture that is already taken for granted in other climes. That before you buy a product that you consume, there are other products that are also expired that we don't normally consume, but we are very particular about the consumables. You check the best before date, or sometimes it says expiry date. These are information that speaks to you, and you should take your time to look at it. If it says best before 1st January 2015, if you go there, 2nd of January 2015, it's no longer best. And that's what consumer protection is saying. It's no longer best. And if you want to use your money to buy something, why don't you go for the best rather than the less? So watch out, check the dates. And if it says clearly expiry date, and expiry date is 1st January 2015, you're on your own if you buy it. So a lot of products are pushed in here that are near expiry dates. You find them on the streets, and we just buy and we consume. So it's important that because some of these have potential hazards, that we allow consumers to begin to do what is international practice. In fact, retailers abroad would already have removed those products, or they would have set them aside for discounted price 6 weeks even before the expiry of the best. You will never find a product on the shelf where the BB date has even expired. So what we are saying, simply, be more proactive. Adopt some responsibility as a consumer. Check what you buy. If it is not within an active shelf life, don't put your money in it. You have a thing. Use your money where it gives you value. Buy what you are sure is within a shelf life. Some will say, well, after the BB is still potent, it's still okay, but we'll ask for how much longer can we assume that it's still okay. So for us at the CPC, we say, why don't you just look for the product that still has a valid shelf life instead of trying to calculate?
On that one, sorry, but in the power is still within the buyer to do all of those checks. But what about a situation whereby you have an under-measured or half-filled, especially when that particular pack or container is not transparent for you to see what exactly you're buying? We've actually seen a whole lot, and it has become prevalent in our society now. So what do you do as a buyer when you get a half-filled or under-measured maybe products?
Yeah. It's common now, and particularly where you buy them in crates that may not be visible at the point of purchase. I mean, in cartons, for instance. Yes, it's not value for money, because what you paid for is a full measure of whatever it is. And once in situations as that, it's a factory error. And though the manufacturers will tell you that they have some scientific percentage in which it is allowed, yeah, but take it out of the process line. It should never find its way to the market. So that's not an excuse for you to say, oh yeah, we're allowed to have some error. You're allowed, but you should have a process of removing them from the line before it goes there. So a consumer that buys a product that is short fill in any form whatsoever, you haven't gotten value for money, so you return it to the retailer or wherever. The challenge is Some of us don't get our receipts, so the retailer will say, yo, you didn't get this from me, but you should, as much as possible, get an identification and a receipt so that you can take it back to the retailer. If the retailer will not exchange a new one, then it becomes an issue for you because you haven't gotten value for money. Then you come to us. We can now trace it and help you to get value. But above all, we want that should stop.
What's the process for coming to you?
You can send us an email. You can send us a text. Our email address is contact@cpc.gov.ng. We have a hotline. You can reach us 0805 600 2020. You can come to some of our, we have address, zonal offices in about 6 geopolitical zones. But the best way is to do an email because anywhere you are, you can get to us or you can call us.
How often do you get such complaints, especially from flyers? I'm talking about air passengers now.
Yes.
How often do you get complaints from them?
We get complaints often about flight delays, about non-refund of tickets which have been properly purchased, particularly about delays. And that was where CPC intervened, and to say that it's not value for money for service that you have paid for a 1-hour flight to end up being a flight that gets you sleeping on the naked floor of the airport. So we receive those complaints. However, we send them to the airlines to respond. But let me just quickly say that in addressing a global consumer abuse, the Council has the power to investigate complaints. For us, we think that because there's been a massive abuse of consumers, individual complaints as this will not resolve it. We do a sectoral intervention. And once you address a sector, it has a whirlwind which all the other partners in that sector will just key in.
But it's not supposed to be in conjunction, because you just mentioned, we said we're going to get the regulation, taking or prosecuting some businesses. And some people will say, but your business is more with the consumer. Prosecuting the businesses is now in the line of regulation.
No, we have the powers. If you issue an order to redress a consumer and you refuse to comply with it, that's how it goes. We are not prosecuting the business. But we say, we are there. You've complained, and we say to you, sometimes we summon these businesses to come to give us information. They shun. They don't come. Our laws allows us to prosecute for refusing to attend a summons. And at the end of the summons, like I'm saying, when you carry out an investigation, is a process in which you listen to both sides, and you invite them to come, and at the end of the day, you reach a decision. We think that there's been an abuse of a consumer, do this. If you don't do it, then the law allows us to prosecute. So that's where that goes.
We have some complaints here. Someone says he's a lawyer and he's written to the CPC about a substance his client saw in a drink, in a bottled drink, and nothing has been done. And then that's Anwar Clinton. And Marzi Ignatius Chem says the CPC is not in Aba and Umar here to see the things going on there, that the CPC needs to be proactive in the state and not be a rubber stamp.
Okay. I don't know how we are rubber stamp, really. If we are proactive, yes. But rubber stamp, I don't understand what he means. And we can only do what we are empowered legally and by support to do. So right now we have just 8 offices, and we are clamoring that it is impossible for an agency that is charged to protect over 140, I guess, or 50 million consumers to just be sprinkled in few states, and that we actually need to be in at each state. And we have a bill currently at the Assembly, I don't know when it will get out, that has supported the establishment of a state, an office in each of the states of the Federation, which will help us get down more to what's on ground. But we don't really have to be on ground, as it were, if you have a complaint to reach us, like I said. You can always reach us by the various other methods that we have. Being a rubber stamp, I really don't know. You may need to explain who we are rubber stamping.
Well, I think let's close with perhaps another mention of some of these contact, handles to the CPC, because I'm sure many Nigerians would want to get back to you on issues of flight delays, under-measured, half-filled, services rendered, and so many other complaints, especially even after the Yuletide. So can we take that one more before we leave?
Yes, consumers, let me just say as a round-off, in the few weeks or few days from now, you'll be spending a lot of money purchasing consumables for the celebration. I have to say that you have the right to make sure that you put your money where it gets value. Look out for dates, look out for measures, look out for, make sure that what you buy is what you get. And if you don't, we have our headquarters in Abuja. It's at plot 1105 Dar es Salaam Street. That is off Aminu Kano Crescent, Wuse 2, if you want to come in physically. If you don't want to, you can send us a mail at contact at cpc.gov.ng. It gets to us, and we have a system where we respond immediately. Or you can you can call us on 0805 600 2020. We are also on Facebook. If you want to like us or send some information to us, it's www.facebook.com/cpcng. You can tweet us as well. You can tweet us and complain. We will actually engage you.
I love my girls to test and see how effective that is, because they really would want someone to take charge of such complaints. I would like to thank you so very much for finding time to join us. Dupef Atoki, she's the Director General Consumer Protection Council here in Nigeria. Well, sorry, still it takes a moment. We'll return and perhaps also tell you more of what is happening here in Lagos. The APC finally has a candidate, and a person of Mr. Akinomi Ambode, the former Accountant General. Well, he got 3,735 votes. Stay with us.